Spit to the beat. Podcast. It's all about inside the music industry.
Nobody do it better.
Oh, gosh.
Welcome to Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Be Unstoppable Per Year, and we are live virtual on the internet, streaming live right now in your home on Facebook at Stacey Be Unstoppable Per Year, Stacey Spit to the Beat, and also on YouTube. Definitely go on YouTube. Make sure you go ahead and join right now. Click that like button, subscribe, and that notification bell. I really will appreciate it, so I can definitely keep up with you, and you can keep up with me. Also, definitely, I want to thank my sponsors as well as my listeners who all has been tuning in each and every week. Thank you so much for your support. Continue to support the podcast as we grow and continue to do the things that we do to bring you the best in the entertainment, music entertainment, as well as film and production, and all that's in the business locally and nationwide. Thank you so much for being a part of this. So definitely go to my YouTube. And become a subscriber. Today, got a very special guest in the house with me, a longtime friend, excuse me. We've been knowing each other for a couple of years. He's been working on his project, and we're going to talk about that. Definitely what he has been up to since then, and when we're going to get a release date on this project and what it's all about. So definitely coming in, joining me today live here on Spit to the Beat podcast. My guest, my friend, filmmaker, Dale Harris. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, brother. Thank you for having me.
Good,
Man.
good. Let's talk a little bit about it. You know, we was talking before the show came on about your project and everything like that. But first of all, let's talk about your inspiration as far as wanting to become a filmmaker and your entrepreneurship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting because I'm an architect by trade, but I always say I became an architect on accident. So it's like one of those things to where I never planned on becoming an architect, but it's a thing that happened. And then once I actually got into the profession, like many people, you know, you go to school for something, you don't have really an idea what it's like. And then once you get into it, you realize, oh, maybe this is not exactly this is not exactly how I thought it was going to go. So from that point on, it was really just, I remember just sitting back and metaphorically, I'm just looking at like a empty whiteboard. I don't know much, but I know architecture ain't it. Pretty much. So I'm like, all right, put something on the board. And, you know, keeping it real, I thought at that time, you know, no kids, young guy, smart guy. I'm like, the most logical thing that I can do is pick the most illogical thing that I can think of and then just try to do that, you know, give an honest effort towards that and just make a decision from there. So from that point on, I was just like, you know what? With all the hardships and the trials and tribulations that college was, and being an emerging professional out there in the field was, I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and dream as big as I possibly can. And just like, hey, you know what? Let's be movie stars.
Cool.
I mean, that's literally just, how it happened. Like it wasn't, yeah, I decided to be a film producer and then the idea came second. It wasn't like I was just walking around and then like, man, it would be a good idea for a movie. It wasn't like that at all. It was like at this point, I was just so frustrated with my current circumstances and the trajectory that I was on. I realized that like I no longer wanted to be on the path that I was on, that I just needed a bridge. I needed a vehicle. I needed something that had the potential, that was big enough, that had the potential to just radically transform my situation.
Yeah.
So from that point on, I was just like, all right, what's big enough to actually transform my situation? I'm like, okay, I seen Issa Rae blew up. I remember that. And then so many other people. I was just, you know what? Why not? Let me go ahead and hop into this content game.
Yeah. I kind of like that, what you're doing and stuff like that. So let's go into a little bit more about your journey, what the process. We talked about a little early, Allies, and how it has became your major thing, your project that's in the oven, ready to come out, and people ready to hear it and see it and stuff like that. So tell us, what was your challenges for bringing that project to fruition?
It's like, what wasn't a challenge? It was everything was a challenge. Just like many other young filmmakers, just young entrepreneurs out there, starting out, time, money, which you don't know. So, I'm coming from architecture, and luckily the thought process of how a building gets to put together is similar to the thought process as how a film or a movie gets put together. So I just kind of use the skills that I already accumulated throughout just the working and being, project manager and things like that. And I jumped off the porch. I just jumped off the porch. I didn't even really think about what I didn't have or the whatever disadvantage I may have. Because I mean, looking back at it, like the whole thing was just ridiculous. To be honest with you, just to make it this far, it's just like, man, that really happened. So no money, like extra no money. At the time when I made the decision, keeping it real, I could barely even pay my rent on time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing was going well. So it was just one of those things to where I really just tried to become a learning machine. A learning machine. I just try to learn as much as I can.
So independently teaching yourself the skills and the techniques and stuff like that. I guess researching YouTube and all that stuff.
Yeah. You know what I did? I can say this now. The statute of limitations is over, I guess, maybe. But I really turned my job into like a university. I turned my job I made pretty much a contract with myself. I said, I'm not going to go to my job and not while I'm working on whatever I'm working on, consume a podcast or a tutorial or an interview, something that was going to edify me, something that's going to further my journey and my progression. As I said, if I'm going to go into a job and build somebody else's legacy, build somebody else's their business and what they got going on, and I'm going to at least do the same with me. So that was the first major step in anything, because even still, I mean, the knowledge was the main thing, because once I got the know-how, from that point I just hit the ground running for real. So from there, the money even wasn't even as the project progressed, the money became more of a factor, because things costs add up quickly. But it's just one of those things to where I ended up getting a second job. Actually, I had to get a second job anyway, right? Because the job I always had, the math was not mathing. So once I got to a point where I could have quit that job, I decided to keep working 2 jobs 7 days a week for pretty much like an additional like 4 months afterwards, right? And all that was going to was, I remember I bought a Black Friday deal with a Canon camera. I bought some terrible sound equipment that was not worth the money, that was not worth the plastic it was made with. And I just pretty much bought the basic necessities. And yeah, just hit the ground running from that point on. So yeah.
Speaking of allies, what's your aim your behind this project? What are you where are you trying to take it to?
Keeping it real, the aim was I need a hit.
Simple as that.
It was pretty much it. Like I said, like it wasn't a situation where I was just walking around like, and then like I just got hit with just some revelation. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I mean, the story, what happened was, I was going through my journey, and then I met another creative here in town, Dre Baines, and we ended up the pro allies. We did not set out to make a whole feature film length project at all. That was not the goal at all.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things to where there was actually a film festival here in town, and there was like a shorts competition. So all we really initially started to do was just a short film competition, right? And the idea for allies we came up with in 6 days because we didn't really have the time. We didn't have the time. It was if the deadline was in like November, it's like mid-October or something.
Yeah.
It's like we had to really like, so literally in 6 days we was able to just come up with the idea. And then Dre and I had such a synergy working together that we was just like, I got a high motor and I'm always with like I'm always on go. He's always on go. So it was just like one of those things to where, we just kept playing like give and go. Like I would be on my lunch break working on the script, send it back to him, and then he sent it back to me by the time I get off, and then I send it back to him by the time I go to work in the morning, and then we're just sending it back over
Yeah.
and just just kept molding, and it's really just wandering so much that you just refine so much, and just you're gonna make mistakes, but just hide as many of the mistakes as you possibly can, and we just that's really what it came. It just came out of necessity, really.
Okay, cool. So look, we're gonna take a short break, but I want to come back and talk about your funding, how you are trying to get the project off as far as raising money and stuff like that. And also continue to talk about the theme of allies and this detective
Yeah.
went underground and stuff like that. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. I'm gonna let you give the spiel on it. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but I have watched it and enjoyed it, and the sound, the quality is all there for anyone that's looking to will eventually get to see it. So we're gonna come right back, okay?
You're listening to Spit to the Beat podcast with your host, the one, the only Stacy B. Unstoppable Per Year.
Hey, this is Stacy, aka Beat Unstoppable Per Year with Spit to the Beat podcast. Would you like to be my guest if you're a singer, songwriter, musician, producer, or promoter? Give me a call at 901-341-6777 or email me at myguest@spittothebeat.com.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, good people? This your man, comedian A-Train, and I want you to keep it locked right here on Spit to the Beat podcast.
And we're back to the Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacy B. Unstoppable Per Year. I'm joined in the studio live. We are live on Facebook right now. We are live on YouTube. Make sure y'all go and tune in right now. We're just kicking the show out. We're just getting into some great information. But my very special guest joining me today on Spit to the Beat podcast is filmmaker, film director, Dale Harris in the building with me, baby. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, man, we was left off talking about you were talking about how the project coming about and stuff like that. The aim and the purpose behind this is basically to make a hit, to get a hit. So let's talk about the funding part. What you got in motion to raise money? How you going about doing that?
Absolutely. So pretty much now we're at a critical juncture right now. So we're actually about to release our first Kickstarter campaign,
Okay.
which is really remarkable when you think about it, because it's our first one, and we're pretty much almost here at the finish line. But we still need a little bit of help with the post production, especially with the marketing efforts, being able to cover a lot of those costs, so we can really set the internet on fire like we know we can. So yeah, the Kickstarter is about to come up, and you can if you follow me on social media, Dale Harris Pro is my personal Instagram. Allies Web Series, all social media campaign. You can keep up with the Kickstarter information as we get ready to release a lot more information about that in the coming weeks. And I'm pretty much working a lot behind the scenes with that. My goal is 1,000 emails, and this is not to give money. This is for 1,000 people that are open-minded, that it says, you know what, something like Allies is something that I can get behind. It's an independent production. It's made right here in Memphis, Tennessee, with Memphis talent, and we got some of the best and the most talented people in the city. It's just like, you've seen it. We got a full cast and crew. We didn't spare any expense. We didn't cut any corners, and it's one of those things to where I think the city of Memphis is going to be proud. It's be proud to stand behind, because it's when you see it, you can see it was made with love and consideration and attention to detail. It wasn't just thrown together, because it takes a lot to cut through the noise. And, and one thing about Memphis is, like, if it ain't it, they're gonna let you know it ain't it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we pretty much, the reception been 100% positive, 100%. So I'm super grateful for that. It's been one of those things to where, they hit me up about every day about, hey, where that? Like, what you taking so long?
Yeah.
So, but it's just one of those things to where, it's got to be done right, because once it's out, it's out. You can't do anything else. You can't change it. You can't do anything.
Can't bring it back, nothing like that, retract it or anything.
And it's not a light thing, because these are people likeness. This is somebody's face. You're in it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You wouldn't sign up for no nonsense, for no mess. So you know what I'm saying? So I got to do my part to make sure that everybody is presented in the best possible light, and also something that, like I said, can really make the city of Memphis proud. And we see what Memphis is doing on the daily on the rap scene. Is Memphis is pretty much running the rap scene, has been for years. So I think it's about time that on the filmmaking and movies and TV side, and myself and a lot of other talented people are working to help really put or re-solidify Memphis as a cultural hub as far as the entertainment side on the movies and TV.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk a little. You touched on it just a little bit about the social media and stuff like that. Well over 150,000 social media follower audience on Instagram. How has you leveraged social media to become a part of that, to help you get that money to get the word out?
Yeah, that's been everything. That's one of the best decisions that I made this entire process, and it really was born out of just the pandemic.
And the numbers are still growing.
Yeah, they're growing. Media. It's crazy.
I want you to tell it, but he did call me and told me about a special person who
very special
became a follower on you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, this just happened this morning. It's one of those things to where I'm still in shock. The one, the only, Miss Tina Knowles gave the account a follow, and it's just like, hey,
Beyonce mom for
Beyonce's
you that don't know.
Yeah, it's just one of those things to where it's like, we got to be doing something right, and the reach is wide. We're getting out there. I've been very, very consistent. Really kind of borderline manic. Refreshing the page, post more content. Refresh the page, post more content.
Yeah,
and it's just one of those things to where, if you keep planting those seeds, because it wasn't like this at all. It took me. I started to build a following online in the middle of the pandemic, because the pandemic really did a number on Allies as a production. We were halfway done with the project, halfway done. You can actually hit play and sit back and watch the first half of the film. And then the pandemic hit, and we were kind of stranded. And once we got to like June or July or whatever, that's when I really realized, like, oh, we might be in this for a while. Like this is not regular. So from that point, I was just kind of brainstorming, racking my brain of like, what can I do that's productive?
Yeah.
That was my mindset. Like, what can I do? Because I was so used to being in that mode of like, go, 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 go. And then to be forced to be sat down, it was like, I wasn't used to that. So once I got the idea of like, okay, I could start, I don't know how long this hiatus for this, this COVID break is going to last. But in the meantime, however long it does last, I can start building a following. And for the first 2.5 years, it took 2.5 years to get 100,000 followers. And then it took 5 months for the next 50,000. So it's just one of those things where like the returns compound. So now it's at a spot where, I'm not quite the Brock or anything like that, but it's just one of those things to where there is an engaged audience, and it's just people that have gotten into the habit of tuning into the page.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I have. That's actually one of the things I actually want to really even go deeper on once Allies is out. As far as I'm a filmmaker, but I've been moonlighting as a blogger as well, like a part-time blogger.
Yeah.
So I actually really want to go at like full blogger, and do the whole website, the whole 9, do articles, and just keep moving up that way. So it's just one of those things to where I was able to make such a following. I leverage other people's popularity and other people's status pretty much. So whenever there was a new, Power Book trailer or Equalizer or a new Will Smith movie, I would make as much content as I possibly can about that, draw the people in. So now I got like the perfect Trojan horse to put my own project in. And it's just about, getting that awareness out, because I think that's actually probably the marketing aspect.
Mhm.
Is something that, because I always came at it from, kind of like what I alluded to earlier. For me, this was always an entrepreneurial endeavor. Like, it was like, there was no point in my life when I was ever just making films just for the love of it, just for no reason, basically, right? So in any endeavor, marketing is one of the most important facets. If people don't know
Right.
who you are, if you can't reach the people, then you almost dead in the water. So that was one of the things that I was super grateful for, that I was able to build a following. And now it's just like it relieves a lot of the pressure now that I'm getting back on the trail, getting my face out there more, spreading the gospel of Allies out there.
Yeah. Okay. Look, hold tight. We're going to take another little short break, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about Allies. Okay.
Thank you for listening to Spit to the Beat podcast. Want to know how you can help? Be a sponsor by going to our website at www.spittothebeatpodcast.com and click the support tab. You can also join us each and every week live at YouTube at Spit to the Beat. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow. Thank you for your support.
And we're back to Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Be Unstoppable Puryear. Talking to my very special guest that's live in the studio with me, film director Dale Harris of Allies. He is in the building. He's dropping the information about the soon-to-be released project coming out, hopefully in 2024. We've been waiting on this baby for a minute, so definitely I know it's going to happen. And I'm like super excited to have him on the show. Before we go any further, I want to take a quick little pause. We're going to come right back and going to get into some more stuff like that before we start. Okay, cool.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, good people? This your man, comedian A-Train, and I want you to keep it locked right here on Spit to the Beat podcast.
And we're back to Spit to the Beat podcast, man. Stacy, aka Be Unstoppable Puryear. I am your host, but in the studio with me is film director Dale Harris. Again, we left off about talking about the process, the social media, how it built up and everything, over 150K plus, and a special follower, Miss Knowles, Beyonce mom, who's now following you and everything like that. So tell us now, what's the next step? What's the next step for our lives?
Next step is get this baby out.
Yeah.
Get this baby out, put some people in some seats, and enjoy it. So we're in the beginning stage of this Kickstarter. So that's going to really help alleviate a lot of the pressure from the post-production and the marketing expenses. So that's really the main thing. And right now it's, just to even hear you say that the soon to be released Allies, this just feels good just to be, because it's been a journey. It's been 50,000 setbacks, nothing, nothing comes easy to anybody, no matter how smart you think you are, no matter how talented you think you are. The game is going to test you. The game's going to test you for sure. So it's just to be at this stage of the journey to where we have a product that we can be able to show people, and then we can also be able to put it on streaming and satisfy all these followers that been hitting me up like crazy, saying, "Hey, where are that?" And not only that, just a lot of even at the actors as well. A lot of the actors, they want to use footage from incorporate that into the reel, post about it or show that they work into, because it wasn't just me, it was a lot of people. There's it still blows my mind. I went ahead and tallied up how many people was in the credits. It's about over 80 people. Over 80 people. So it's one of those things to where Allies, that's what I love about it. It's really like one of those things to where like the sum is greater than its parts. Is when you look at it, and nothing about it looks like an independent project. Nothing about it looks indie or low budget.
Man, it is nice. It's edited good. The sound is good. And coming from me, I know what I look for in a movie. I'm a critic of good sound and good audio, good visual and stuff like that. And it's definitely touching all those bases. So like I said, people, when you want to come out and watch this film, once it released, this series, it's going to be screaming, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So once it be screaming, you're going to enjoy every episode. You ain't going to want to get off the couch. It is that good. So definitely we all anticipate.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see, and the thing about it is it's like I'm seeing RTJ. I'm gonna go ahead and brag on him a little bit. The lead character, Robert Taylor Jr., I call him RTJ, is super interesting. He's one of the most talented people that I know. You would never guess that he was my college roommate. You know what I'm saying? Like my college, it's just crazy how life has a funny way to just circling back around. And he was my college roommate for 5 years.
This the gentleman that played the detective.
Yeah, he plays Steve. So a little synopsis on Allies in general. So Allies follows the story of Steve, and Steve is he's a reluctant federal agent who he's trying to get out the game really, and he gets convinced on taking one last case, and so it's that one last one that once you get sucked in, it's just it never ends well from there. So that's right there at the beginning of the movie, the inciting incident to where he takes on that last case, and then pretty much all hell breaks loose from that point on. And he's just fighting for his life, fighting for his family, fighting to not only solve this case that he's been working on for so long. And but Robert Taylor Jr., who plays Steve, is one of the most talented, not only just the most talented, and this is also something just for independent artists on the grind. He's one of the most disciplined and hardworking people, because it's like at this point, like I said earlier, 80 people, right? Right. 80 people made it on screen, but so you could imagine how many people didn't make it on screen. So I'm talking like at least several hundred that I at least interacted with throughout this whole process. And one of the most interesting things that I found, this is the phenomenon that, especially in Memphis, talent, there's no shortage of talent. There's no shortage. Like Memphis is one of the most talented cities in America, if not the most talented city in America. Like just anywhere you go, somebody does music, makes beats, acts, writes, everything.
Right.
But it's one of those things to where the professional development side, the work ethic side, can can you work well with others? Can you show up on time? Can I trust you to, be prepared and, optimistic, positive attitude on set like that? Just one of those. And RTJ, he exemplifies that 1,000 times over. So he's just made it really easy, just the whole process. Because, on the independent grind, it's one of those things to where even on the major sets, there's hurdles and challenges and unforeseen things. You could, but on the independent side, it's that times 20, is that much more turbulence. So you really need those people to really just capitalize on, control what they can control, and just not let opportunities slip and pass them by. And he's one of those people for sure.
Okay, look, we're gonna come back. One last final thing you would like to say. We talked about your challenges and everything in the music, in the film industry and stuff like that. Is there one last thing you would like to say to the audience as far as how they can get in contact with you? What the process of doing that? Yeah,
for sure. Like I said, the project is named Allies, and it's one of those things to where I think it's going to be one of the biggest releases. Numerically, it already is one of the biggest releases of the year, especially on the independent side. So, it was a fantastic project. If you're a fan of shows like Power, Raising Kanan, Ozark, Law and Order, I'm like one of my favorite genres is that crime drama. Is where it keeps you on the edge of your seat. You never know what's going to happen next. It's totally in that vein. So that's something that Allies is going. I think it's going to be received well. So yeah, like I said, Allies web series on all social media platforms, and DaleHarrisPro.tv is the official website. You can check us out. We had the trailer uploaded on YouTube. We're using the premiere feature, so it's not actually premiered yet, but you can hit the notify me button. Definitely smash the like button. Smash the like button. It does wonders for the algorithm, so we can show the content to even more people, grow the audience, grow the base. And it's one of those things that I'm super excited to finally, because it's been the best / worst kept secret for a very long time, and it's just to finally be at a point where it's just like it's about to be out, and people are talking about it, and you see the excitement. We're gonna have to get dressed to the nines for a premiere here soon. Like, we're gonna have to do something legendary for sure.
Cool.
I'm excited about it, man. Thank you.
Again, thank you for coming in and watching Spit to the Beat podcast today with my very special guest, film director Dale Harris. Mini series that are going to be coming out very soon, and hopefully in 2024. Allies, make sure you go out when that information is released, that you go out and check it out. I promise you won't be disappointed. Thank you again for joining me on Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey B. Unstoppable Puryear, and we're out. Thank you for watching Spit to the Beat podcast. Join us again next week for another live episode. Thank you.